but it had hot dogs in it. And I was just like so thrown off by that. When really, this woman was just trying to make an easy meal.
Wait till you hear about Filipino spaghetti.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome back to the Nuanced AF Pod. I'm Juan.
I'm Lex.
And we are two highly empathetic people who are always trying to find the nuance in everything because everything is nuanced AF. Lex.
Juan.
Happy May. At the time that this will go up, it's gonna be May.
Nice.
It is officially no longer my birth month. But all good, because April showers bring May flowers. Yeah, it really hasn't rained that much in April, but I think this week it might be a little rainy.
A little rainy. Yeah, it rained a little bit last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind some rain because my car has been pollen the fuck up.
Yeah, the pollen.
And I just need to get washed away.
For sure.
Yeah.
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 It's a lot.
Yeah. How are you this week?
I'm pretty good.
That's good, my baby. I love you.
I love you too.
I love you too.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Enough of that. I know people didn't come to hear that. People came to hear about assholes, and if they are one, am I the asshole? Actually, this one is going to be an am I overreacting one. And it's also, I didn't see this on Reddit. I saw it on Instagram, and I thought this might be a cool sort of thing to discuss on the podcast. So I saved it for that.
Okay.
All right. So, my wife died when our daughter was just 3. Before she passed, we recorded everything. Her pregnancy, her laughter, her hopes. Videos meant for our daughter to watch when she grew up. Years later, I remarried. Life moved on, and now my daughter's almost 13. I recently went to find those videos so I could finally share them with her, but they were gone. When I asked my wife, she calmly said she threw them away. She told me it was time to move on. In that moment, something inside me broke. Those videos weren't just memories. They were my daughter's last connection to her mother, and someone else chose to erase them. I didn't argue. I just filed for divorce.
Oh.
Now her parents say I'm overreacting and that it means I never healed. But I kept wondering, is holding on to memories wrong, or is destroying them the real betrayal?
I would say destroying them is the real betrayal.
I think in this instance, and probably in most instances, yeah.
I would say in this instance, yeah. Because you didn't just destroy it for, this man. You destroyed it for this little girl.
That too. Yeah.
You no longer have any of those, recordings of, her mom. That's sad. And it's and why did this woman do it? Did she feel threatened? Because, I don't see a good reason to do that.
Yeah, because are you that insecure that your husband is still pining over his late wife that you felt like you needed to do this to move on? Because
pining's kind of different.
Okay, still hung up, I guess, or
not even hung up. Just you want having those videos doesn't even mean that he's
Well, right. Yeah. We know that. But I'm just saying in her mind, that may be what she's thinking.
Yeah.
And I think it just shows a lot of her insecurities.
It's giving without knowing anything else about this woman, it's giving a little oh, I don't a little Cinderella-y, what how does she treat her stepdaughter? We don't
have any context. But
because if you're that upset about your husband having another wife, another lover, and a daughter from this, I think that says a lot more about the wife.
Absolutely.
His current partner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Than about him.
Yeah.
But the fact that he just straight up divorced her, that's wild. That's crazy right there.
Yeah. And I don't blame him. It is a drastic step, but it's also, so was erasing all those memories.
Yeah, Both the things were those things were very ballsy.
And like you said, like it's not just his memories, it's his daughter's memories too.
Yeah, and like why wasn't this a conversation? Like why wasn't this like a hey, this is how I'm feeling. Can we talk about it? And like, you know, maybe and her being like this is what I want to do,
Right.
not just doing it without any consent.
Yeah, right.
Like that's crazy to me.
Yeah. I think you'll see that that's a central theme with pretty much all of these, like, am I the assholes, am I reacting? Like, why wasn't this a conversation?
Yeah, that's definitely true. And I get like it's not always an easy conversation,
Right.
But also at the end of the day, it's like it's better to like have the hard conversation than to make drastic decisions that you can no longer change. Like,
yeah, like you can't take that
you
back.
can't take it back. Like it's like you can't take this back, and like he could, I guess, technically take the divorce back, but like I don't think he probably wants to at this point.
Yeah,
like,
I think even like taking the fact that like the wife passed away out of it.
This would have been inappropriate even without that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I've never asked you to delete anything of any of your past relationships, and you've never done that for me, and we're just secure in like our relationship, and I know not everyone is like that.
Well, yeah, for sure. And it also begs the question of like, does this girl like know anything about her mother? Like, you know what I mean? Like this little girl, like are there not photos around? Like why is this woman so insecure about this fact? Like, I don't know. Like I have so many questions. Like
like I have sympathy for people who have insecurities, but like acting on them like this is crossing a line.
Dangerous. Yeah, that's dangerous.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're crossing a line. And like the fact that the parents are even like, oh, you're overreacting. I'm like, I don't know. I think him immediately moving to divorce too also kind of gives me the vibe of like, was this something on his mind already? You know what I mean? Because I feel like most people wouldn't jump from like there to there that quickly. There would be a conversation happening, but maybe these are two just very like volatile people, and they just make very like quick decisions. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe they quickly got married, and yeah, maybe that was stewing in the background. Who knows?
Yeah, we have there's a lot of questions here, but just base level, like that was not okay.
Yeah.
For her to do.
Right. Again, I think every action has an equal opposite reaction.
Yeah.
Like both of these things are extremes.
Yeah. And was he overreacting? I wouldn't go as far to say like he certainly wasn't underreacting.
He was properly reacting, I think.
Yeah, and I get him being like super angry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's some real feeling, real emotion there. And like I don't know. I could never be that either, be that person to be like, you know, you can't have any memories of like your exes or like whatever. Like it's one thing if there were pictures of her like everywhere kind of thing, but like this person was married to this other woman and had a child with this other woman, so like it makes sense for her like presence to be around.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that makes sense. But like we don't know that. So I don't know.
And just the fact that, you know, the wife passed away just adds a whole deeper like layer to this. And
yeah. Especially since the little girl that happened. Like, I'm more concerned about the little girl, honestly,
right.
than like the two adults in the situation. Because I'm like,
yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
because like the little girl wasn't taken into account at
all. Yeah,
there was
zero.
No consideration.
No consideration for her. She was 3 years old when her mother died, so it was probably like she probably barely remembers her mom, and so
if at all.
If at all. So. And then like you took away like these videos which had her pregnancy, her voice, like memories of her, like her in motion, like in the video, obviously, like so. Just that's hard. That's hard for like, you know, her father, but obviously, like, really hard for the little girl. Like, that's super crazy that she would think to do that.
Yeah.
Just be like, bye, gonna throw this out now.
I 1000% understand why he broke.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this is something that would break you.
Yeah, this is definitely like something that would push you to your limits for sure. Like,
Yeah.
it's just a heartbreaking situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think to answer the question, is holding on to memories wrong or is destroying them the real betrayal? Holding on to memories is definitely not wrong at all.
No, they make up who you are as a person. Like,
yeah.
No.
And like sometimes like that's all you're left with.
Yeah. And in this case, that's exactly what it was. That's all you're left with. Like,
and yeah, I don't know. That is crossing a line. That is not your place to do.
Yeah. And I'm sure like they still have photos and stuff, but that's a lot. Like home videos and like I'm sure that was like really meaningful and they just tossed it out like it was nothing. It's sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, you're not overreacting. At least I don't think so.
I wouldn't say he was overreacting.
I think you are very much properly reacting.
Yeah.
All right. Let us now move on to everyone's favorite
TikTok
section, TikTok.
First date, is this how girls think? I want to see that one.
Alrighty.
So I went on a first date this week, and I need to know, is this how girls think? Is this normal? But before you tell me I'm overreacting, let me explain. And as always, if you like my stories, like to hear about my awful dating life, feel free to drop me a follow.
My God.
Let's get right into it. So I matched with this girl on Hinge, and let's call her Lady. Lady was just my type, super outdoorsy, super active, and we talked for 10 days. Over the course of this
I was gonna say 10 hours.
conversation was really good. She seemed engaged. She seemed interested in everything we were talking about. And she actually asked me out on a date. Picked a restaurant, real nice upscale place that I've never been to. I was impressed. I truly was. And I confirmed with her the day before the date, and I ended up getting to the restaurant first. I shot her a text, told her I was here, and she told me she was running a little bit late to go on in, and the reservation was under her name. So I walk in, go over to the host stand and say, reservation for 2 for Lady. The host checks her list and goes, okay, sir, right this way, and leads me over to the table. The table is perfect. Good lighting, corner booth, nice and secluded, perfect spot for a first date. I sat down, looked at the menu, and a few minutes later, Lady walked in. She looks extraordinary. The effort she put into her outfit was very easily visible, very intentional. We do our introduction, sit down, and within 60 seconds, I'm sitting through the best date of my life. And she's sharp. She's funny in a dry way, almost like dad humor. She looked like she was listening intently, not just for an answer. And we just kept talking nonstop. Through the entire time that the waiter took our orders, the food came out. And I'm not even talking about the food, but it was incredible. It was the best Delmonico steak I've ever had in my entire life, paired with a perfect glass of Cabernet. We got through the entire date, no hiccups, no awkward pauses, nothing. I had butterflies in my stomach. And then the check came. The check came, she reached for it, I reached for it. She got there first. And in the next 30 seconds, I found out something that I'm still turning over. Stay with me. She got to the check first. She opened it. She looked at it. She goes, I got it. I didn't even have a chance to say, let me. She looked at me and said, I suggested the place. I got it. I've never dealt with this in my life. I look at her. I go, are you sure? She goes, absolutely. Please let me take care of the bill. She took out her card, placed it in the folder, and the waiter came to get it and walked away. I said, thank you. This place is incredible. I'm still in shock that she just paid the bill without me asking. She said, thank you. It's my favorite restaurant. So I asked her how long she's been coming here. And she said a while. The team knew her here, which made a lot more sense, understanding the dynamic between her and the waiter now. The waiter came back, set the tab down, and goes, it was great to serve you again, Miss Lady. And then he looked at me, briefly, very neutral look, and just walked away. And I looked at her, and I go, lady, you must come here a lot. She said enough. She comes here enough. And I said, this is like a special occasion type of place. I saw the prices on the menu. And she said something that shocked me. She said, any occasion is special occasion. And I told her I like that. I like that mindset. She signed the receipt, closed the tab and went, shall we? So I go, yeah. We stood, we got our coats, and I said, I want to ask you something. The reservation was under your name. You made it before we matched. Lady looked at me and goes, what? I go, the reservation. The host said it was under Lady. Most places this big and this upscale need reservations a lot more than 8 days out. We matched 8 days ago. And she looked at me, confused or shocked. I still couldn't tell. And I said, how far out did you book this? When did you book this? She said, why does it matter? And I said, just because I'm curious. I had an amazing time with you. She looked at me and goes, 6 weeks. I go, you made this reservation 6 weeks ago, well before we matched. Yeah. I said, who is the reservation for? She answered, and I want to tell you what she said, because it's one of the most disorienting things I've ever heard at the end of a first date. Stay with me until the end. She said, it was for whoever I ended up bringing. I said, I'm sorry? She said, I book this table every 6 weeks. Same table, same night. I've been doing it for 2 years now. You book this table every 6 weeks. And she said, I like having something to look forward to. A guaranteed nice evening, no matter what's going on. I said, and you always bring a date? She said, no, not necessarily. Sometimes I bring a date, sometimes I bring a friend. If I really want to, I'll come alone. And tonight I brought you. I said, because we matched? She said, because we matched, the conversation was good, and the timing was right. And I was a little hurt by this. I said, so this date was already happening. I just happened to be the person you brought. And she goes, that sounds a lot worse than it is. Does it? She said the reservation already existed, that I was not interchangeable, that she's brought people here that did not get a 2-hour date out of her. I said, what happens to the people that don't? Dinner ends earlier. Just matter of fact, like, why didn't you know that, Christian? And with me, she said, it's been 2.5 hours, and I'm still here. Do the math. I said, lady, I need to think about how this makes me feel. Because in the moment, I just felt like a piece of meat, like a little side addition to something she was already doing. And I think she could pick up on that. Because she looked at me and she goes, for what it's worth, this is the longest I've ever spent at this restaurant. We stayed past the reservation. Never heard of this in my life. I go, the reservation ends? She said, 40 minutes ago. I looked at her and she looked back at the table. And then she said, you're lucky they know me here. I stood in the corner booth of a restaurant at a table that had been booked 6 weeks before she even knew I existed. And I told her, I'll text you. And she just said, okay. And then she told me, just so you know, the table's still available in 6 weeks. She said it simply, not as pressure, just as information. I walked out. I drove home, and I need to tell you what I decided about the table. Follow me, because part 2 is coming tomorrow.
I don't know if part 2 ever came because I think I looked for it and I didn't find it. But anyway, first of all, first thoughts.
Okay, first thoughts. Well, I thought it was going to be like
About paying the bill?
maybe about paying the bill.
Okay.
And not about the fact that this was already booked out in advance.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is an interesting perspective.
Yeah.
Kind of like just a situation. Yeah, like or like challenge, if you will, like because he's looking at like, you know, he feels like he was a piece of meat. But then she's looking at it as like, oh, I was already going to do this like nice thing. Let me bring you as an addition to this nice thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I knew showing this to you would be good because you see both sides.
Yeah.
And I also feel like the piece of meat comment is almost like solely and exclusively like said by like women a lot of the time. Like rarely do men feel that way.
Yeah. Like, you know, used or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think? How do you feel? Or better yet, how would you feel in this situation?
I think he is a little bit more hurt by it than I would be.
Mm-hmm.
I would see this, I was like, oh wow, that's a really interesting way of doing things. And you know me, I like to lead with like gratitude and empathy first, and so I would probably lead with like, you know, thank you for thinking to include me in this thing that you do. Yeah. I think he doesn't feel special.
Yeah, I think that's the problem here. Like he's feeling, you know, this wasn't this wasn't planned for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I get it, like, in a dating sense, that is kind of what you want.
Yeah. But also, this is a first date.
This is a first date, yeah.
Yeah.
I think from like I don't know, just a human and even just like a friend, or I guess like like as a person to person thing to do, I still find it special.
Yeah, I would still find it special. I would also feel like, given the right perspective, like this would be a fun, interesting, like first date story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the top comment. It says, the reservation was made 6 weeks ago. The date with you was made 8 days ago. She included you in something that is special to her because, as she said, sometimes she goes alone.
Yeah.
I would feel honored. I think that's where I lean.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, he's thinking like, oh, I'm just here. Like, it could have been anybody.
I think he feels maybe a little bit emasculated. All the way from like her getting the bill.
Which she would have paid for anyway.
Right.
Because she comes here all the time.
And then, I don't know if this is maybe a little bit of male privilege or just, I don't know, just like maybe male expectation, but like she kind of ran the whole thing. And I think maybe she ran the whole thing, and it wasn't necessarily exclusively for him. So I think he maybe feels a little robbed of that. But even though, she made the points of like, hey, this is the longest I've been at this restaurant.
I really like you.
That should have been special.
Yeah.
And what else? She said something else. That the table is still available in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So meaning that like a second date is on the table.
Is on the table for her.
On the literal table.
On the literal table for her, for sure.
Right. Yeah.
I also think that like framing it in this way, like the way he's framing it, he's entitled to his feelings, obviously. But I also feel like like this comment said, she brought you to something that she considers, special.
Yeah.
So that's, pretty important. She also obviously likes you because you talked for as long as you did in person, which sometimes is harder than, on text or whatever, through text.
Yeah.
Through messages. So it's like she obviously likes you, to some extent cares about you because she wanted to include you in this like special thing that she does. This could have been like a stepping stone to not only another date, but just something that you did together.
Yeah.
So I think it's all about like how you're looking at it.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I think he's only looking at it from his perspective. He's not looking at it from her perspective.
Yeah. Because I don't necessarily think like anything that she did was like bad.
No.
Like, yeah, like I don't think that, like,
especially when like she kind of explained what was going on. I know he took the explanation a little like badly, but it made sense to me. I'm just like, oh, okay, that's a cool different way of doing things.
I wonder how he would have felt if she explained it prior.
Yeah.
Or would that have made it weirder for him? Like,
it could have tainted
it. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
Which is maybe why she didn't say anything before.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Here's another good comment, I think. With all due respect, you're analyzing this incorrectly. She has a routine that involves something she really enjoys. In this case, that restaurant. She didn't use you to fill a void. She invited you to share a part of her routine that she truly enjoys, something that could have happened with any friend or family member. I understand that sometimes we need to feel special, but I think you're unnecessarily complicating things. Damn, that hits the nail on the head. That's exactly how I feel.
Yeah, I can see that. And I think maybe that's like a sign for this person to like do some inner reflection. Be like, why does this make me feel this way? Like, is it more of like there are certain things, and like this could just be a difference in personality, in how other people do things. Like, it might not necessarily be like wrong or right. It just might be like, hey, like this is how you do things, and I'm not as big a fan of it. So like, I think we should cut it off there. Yeah. And it be what it is. But I don't know. I feel like for if that was the consideration, I don't know. Like, I feel like that's I wouldn't think that was enough to cut off something that seems so positive, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like you have good conversation with someone, it's flowing really well, you seem to like one another. Like that's hard enough sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. I feel like this is just a difference you should be able to get over. Like,
yeah.
like and be able to talk it through.
Yeah. I love seeing this comment. My steak's too juicy. My lobster's too buttery.
Oh.
When like, you know, people are like seemingly complaining about something and people are like, you're complaining about
it's like
something.
First world.
You're complaining about a good thing.
Yeah, it's like first world problems.
And you don't even know it. But
yeah, it's like.
Yeah, I think you're right that he needs to do some reevaluating. Yeah,
some inner work maybe, like, because I think that's a stopping point. Like, why does this make you so uncomfortable? Like, I think that's a big, because clearly, like, she was fine with doing this, so this is like maybe how she normally operates, right?
Yeah.
So but that is making him uncomfortable. But and is it because of he feels like emasculated, like you were saying, or is it something like maybe deeper?
I don't think that's at the forefront, the emasculating part, but I think it's maybe a subconscious thing.
It's like an undercurrent.
Well.
Yeah.
Specifically with the bill and whatnot, but I mean, he might be cool with it. I do think it is mostly about like feeling special.
Yeah.
And how like he maybe didn't feel, because the date wasn't made just for him and her, maybe he didn't feel that special, but.
Maybe that's an interesting way of how he's viewing it. Like he's thinking about it like, oh, I would do this for a woman that I'm dating.
Mm-hmm.
So like, oh, maybe that's what she's doing for me. And so maybe it felt like a little like betrayal-y to him because that's how he's viewing it, when really she was, you know, kind of slotting him into like a place that, you know, she really likes and enjoys. And
I just don't think he's been exposed to something or someone like that. And
which could be a good thing in the long run. Like, that could be like, oh, you fill in each other's gaps kind of thing. This could be your soulmate,
he's
bro.
He's kind of starting off on the wrong foot.
Yeah, like this could be your soulmate and you don't even know.
Come on, brother.
Yeah. This is giving me, I don't know why exactly, like why it's giving me this vibe, but it is giving me a How I Met Your Mother a little bit.
Okay.
Like certain situations, like the situational, like type stuff where it's like certain things overlap, but it's like the timing's wrong or things like that.
Yeah.
And it's giving me that kind of vibe. But I don't know. That was good. That was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think he needs to kind of see it from her perspective a little bit more.
Yeah. Do an analysis of how she's viewing things.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Let's
On
see.
to the next.
Weird rules at people's houses. We have to do it.
Here we go.
Here's some rules I've heard that people have at their houses that I disagree and agree with. If I was a parent, I would lose my mind if I found out that my kid's phone got taken while they were sleeping at someone else's house. Because first of all, if you subject your kid to that, that's fine, but do not subject the guests. Because my kid will have their phone at a sleepover for a reason. There are many dangers that could be lurking in that house, and I need them to be able to call me immediately.
Yeah, you're assuming the parents are
trustworthy. I didn't know this was a
trustworthy.
thing that happened, so I'm interested to know if you all have experienced this. But having your kids' friends over and then not feeding them. That is the most, like, it just sounds so rude
That's
to me.
weird.
Maybe it's a Southern hospitality thing, but, like, if my hypothetical child brought over 2 friends, 3 friends, 4 friends, y'all are getting dinner. We're not going to eat dinner and expect you not to eat. That makes no sense to me. I also had never heard of this one, but we're going to talk about it in case y'all have experienced it. Not being able to get a drink with dinner and, like, having to wait until after you're done eating. I don't know if that's, like, a soda thing or even water.
I died.
That's like old school, I feel like.
I couldn't have water until I was done eating. I'd be like, okay, you're not going over there anymore. I do like the rule where you meet the parents that your kids would be staying over with. Like, meeting the family, knowing who would be in the house, that's important because you never know what dangers are lurking in a house. And it's important to at least know where they're staying and who they're staying with. I'm also understanding that a lot of people had, like, the kitchen is closed rules in place for sleepovers. But I can't imagine my kid getting in trouble for, like, trying to get water in the middle of the night. Hopefully that's not, like, a real thing that happens. But that'd be another thing. If I heard that, I'd be like, you're not going over there because you should be able to have a sip of water in the middle of the night if you're thirsty.
Yeah. Definitely a lot of weird rules.
Yeah, those definitely are interesting. Sip of water one, like
no drinks until after
you've
eaten.
I can't remember if that was like my my grandma who said that. So someone in my family, I remember saying that. Like
I'm glad that's
was
outdated.
a rule. Yeah, like that. I think that's like old school.
Because you know me, I drink with every bite.
Yeah.
Or after every bite.
Like I get like, soda or something.
Yeah.
But like water, like, it's water. Like, so what do you mean?
I cleanse my palate damn near every time.
It's just crazy. Like to think that like you'd be like, nah, you can't have that. Like wild. But yeah, also like the no phone thing. Oh, that would be a hard no. Hard no going over there. That's weird. Like,
yeah. Again, like she said, like if you're implementing that with your kid, fine, that's fair and all, but don't implement it on another's kid because now you're cutting off their connection to the outside world, to their parents.
Yeah, that's not good.
That is a line you are absolutely crossing.
Yeah. That's not. And then the one about dinner, like not feeding kids, like not feeding the kids.
Yeah.
I would think in an American setting that was really weird. But I do know in other cultures, it's like if you have guests over, you don't necessarily, you don't necessarily always feed them. I think it depends on the cultural context. But yeah, that was like me as a kid, or like we had kids. Like I would kind of assume that the other parent was gonna like feed them if they were staying to dinner time. Like,
I think, yeah.
I don't know.
One, I would definitely feed them, but if they weren't hungry, I'd be like, all right, well, I'll save you a plate or something like that you can just grab from the fridge if you want.
Or do you want like a snack? Like
right, yeah. I always at least offer something.
Yeah, like it's a little weird to like have kids over. Like I get if it's a difference of like you didn't expect them to be there.
Yeah.
But even so, I feel like if you have kids, like you should kind of expect that your kid may bring one or two people home at some point. Like,
I think okay, so for like in Filipino culture, I think breakfast is it's like a pretty big like deal, and whenever I would have like friends over and whatnot, like, or even just like guests that were staying in our house, like my parents would always like get up a little extra early to like cook a big breakfast for like our guests or whatnot. And so like one time I slept over a friend's house, and I really wasn't like offered any breakfast.
It was casual.
And they were kind of just like, oh yeah, we got some cereal if you want. I'm just like, oh, I'm expecting like big ass omelets.
Yeah, you're expecting what your parents do.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean I did that too. Like like if any of my friends were sleeping over my place, like I would try to like cook up something, like whether it was like eggs or pancakes or something. I would cook something for them. So
I feel like the only time that's ever been like a kind of like a trope is like the morning after. Like if it was good, like with someone, you would make them breakfast. Yeah. But yeah, it was very coin toss. Like for me as a kid, like whether or not if I slept over someone's house, if they would give us breakfast or not. Like it was usually like, because sometimes it would be like your parents would pick you up early, so then like your parents would get you breakfast.
Yeah.
Or like it would depend. It would kind of depend on like the timing, I guess.
Yeah.
But I feel like breakfast is also like, unless you're going out to eat, like I don't know. I feel like people like American culture, breakfast is like not as important sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I think it also kind of depends on like where you live.
Yeah.
But growing up, yeah, it was like 50-50. And even growing up, like my mom would make breakfast on like weekends a lot of the time, or like she'd make breakfast on like special occasions. But even then, breakfast was like a kind of a solitary. Like you get some cereal, you make
every
yourself
man
some
for
toast.
themselves.
Yeah, it was a little bit more like that. Unless it was a special occasion or like a weekend.
Yeah.
My mom wouldn't always make breakfast, but she would do like, oh, do you want something for lunch? And she'd make dinner kind of thing. Like, but also I think that like it was either big breakfast or you figure out something for yourself kind of breakfast. Yeah, like I don't know. I think that's just a very, very maybe American.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would I don't know if this is American to me, but I would just I would rather overfeed someone than underfeed someone.
Yeah. I feel like that's. Especially as a guest, I'd be like, "Do you want anything?" Like, I would offer it. Like, I don't know.
Right. But I also know me as a guest, I'm very afraid to ask for like food or anything because like I don't want to be seen as like rude or needy or anything like that. And I know part of that is just me and how I am and like how like I'm polite to the point where it's detrimental to me where like I could be starving and they're like, "You want any food?" And I'll be like, "No, I'm okay."
I'm fine.
Because like I just didn't want to impose like that, and I don't know, maybe a little shy, but
I love getting to the point with people where you're like, you can just go into their house and go into their fridge and it's fine. I love that.
I don't think I ever got to that point with any friend.
Oh yeah,
and even if they offered, even if they explicitly said time and time again that was allowed, I still probably wouldn't do that.
Yeah. I think that's always like the most fun. I got sometimes to the point with friends where I would get yelled at for not going into the fridge where it's like, you get it yourself. Like that kind of vibe where it's like oh, you're being too polite almost. Where people are like, we're watching something, go into the fridge and get yourself like a soda or whatever. Like, so that's like the opposite problem.
Yeah.
Like, you're familiar enough, you know where everything is.
Yeah,
I'd figure it out.
I'd rather be too polite than not polite at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, weird ass rules. Anything else you want to say about that one? Were there any other rules that we missed?
I'm sure there was one or two, but.
Oh yeah, definitely meet the parents.
Yeah, meet the parents was good. That was
sure.
A+. Yeah. Also.
That's like standard.
Standard.
Like,
should be standard. Yeah. Yeah. Like I get like if you. Like maybe live near one another, like you may not necessarily always like, because I remember growing up, like I would go in and out of like neighbors' houses, and my parents didn't always like explicitly know them. Like some people my parents hung around, but then other people like I just knew their kid from school and like that kind of thing. Was there ever a time when you were a kid and you went over someone's house and they served you food and then you were like, I hate this?
Not that I can remember.
No.
I just remember the whole cereal thing where it's just it's like, oh yeah, if you want to, there's some milk and some cereal.
We got
there
cereal.
If you want. I'm just like,
you're like, I'm lactose intolerant.
Well, no, I mean, I like cereal, but like I was expecting a little bit more pizzazz, you know?
Something special. I remember one of my, I only kind of knew her, I remember, but like this is one of the maybe second or third time that I had been to this person's house, and I hadn't really stayed late enough to stay for dinner, and so then we stayed, and then she made like, basically it was like goulash kind of thing, but it had so like ground beef and like noodles and pasta sauce type thing, like tomato sauce, but it had hot dogs in it, and I was just like so thrown off by that. When really, this woman was just trying to make an easy meal.
Wait till you hear about Filipino spaghetti.
Yeah, and I'm just that's one of the reasons I brought it up.
Yeah.
And I was like, I hate hot dogs, even as a kid. But I still ate them because I was like, this lady made me a meal. I was still polite.
I do remember one time my mom made like this like beefsteak dish, and she makes it with like a lot of onions, which I love. But one of my friends
was like, I hate onions.
I found out did not like onions because he's like, is there onions in this? And I'm just like, yeah. And he's like, oh, I don't like onions. I was like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I don't think I did anything. I'm just like, oh, that's too bad.
That's too bad.
I didn't say that, but I think that's
generally what was felt.
Yeah, I just thought it was more like a preference, but like I don't remember if he didn't eat it afterwards or not. But I don't know.
Yeah.
But all right, let's do one more.
Children's moral dilemmas.
Why do I feel like we've done this, or maybe
I don't know.
Maybe I guess
we'll see.
Yeah.
Nothing has stretched me as a parent like my children reaching an age where they have their own moral dilemmas, like the real kinds. Because I always told myself that I would never force my children into moral decisions. I wanted it to be a pedagogical process for them, something that they did and then had to learn from. And that happened to us just the other day. My kids have had this bully on the bus all year long, and we've been dealing with it. So the other day, this bully, I guess their backpack had opened up on the bus and one of their assignments fell out and they had done poorly on the assignment. And my children picked it up and they hid it in their backpack. So when they got off the bus, they're like elated. They run into the house. They're like, Mom, guess what? And they tell me that this bully had dropped his assignment and it was a failing grade on this assignment. And they said, we are going to, tomorrow, when we get on the bus, we're going to show it to him, and we're going to say, we found your paper. Looks like you're failing school. They're 7 and 9, okay? They got to work on their roasts. And so I looked at them, and I said, okay, so you're going to humiliate this person over their grades in school. They said, yes, we are. And I found myself in my own moral dilemma, where as a parent, I wanted to say, nope, give me that paper. We're putting it in the trash. We're not going to do that. And I realized if I did that, yes, I am demonstrating what is the right thing to do, but I'm also taking away an important pedagogical opportunity for them to learn from. And I decided there in the moment that, A, I trust my kids, like I trust their sense of personal right and wrong and empathy to arrive at the right conclusion anyway. Maybe I would feel differently if I didn't know this about my kids. But I also knew that, like, well, if they're going to explore this lesson, it might as well be with a bully. Because if they end up doing the mean thing, at least they're doing it to a bully. That's how I justified it anyway. So I said to them, like, all right, well, let's talk about how are you going to do it? And so they tell me, they're going to get on the bus, they're going to shove it in his face, and they're going to laugh. And I said, okay, and what do you think he's going to do? And they said, he's probably going to yell back at us and call us names and whatnot. I said, okay, how do you think you're going to feel if he cries? And they balked, and they were like, we won't care. We won't care. He deserves it. I said, oh, okay. We had a longer conversation that I don't have time for here, but what I essentially ended up telling them is, like, you can do what you want. I'm not going to stop you from doing this if that's what you feel is right. But tomorrow, when you get off the bus, I'm going to ask you how it went, and I'm going to ask you how you feel. And I just want you to know that what I predict is that it's not going to feel as good as you think it's going to feel. Make your own choices, make them wisely, but know that you have to live with the feelings that you have after you do that. So they got off the bus the next day, and the first thing I asked them was, what did they do? And they tried to be tough for a second. They were like, we gave it back to him. We gave it back to him. And I was like, okay, and what happened? And my daughter, she said, it felt really good. We felt great about it. I said, oh, okay. And I turned to my son I said, how about you? And he said, we didn't do anything mean, Mom. We just gave it back to him, and we said, we found your paper, and we turned the grade upside down so he didn't know that we saw the grade. And it was in that moment that I realized this was the right thing, because had I taken that paper away, they would not have gotten the opportunity to have to make this moral decision themselves. And they arrived ultimately at what I think is the right decision. And they get to feel good about themselves for having made the right decision. And I get to feel good about myself for having done something that felt not quite all the way right, but that I knew was probably the right thing. I'm really proud of my kids, too.
Yeah.
One, I think that's awesome on the kids' part. Two, this was a real risk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, this easily could have not gone the way the parent
wanted it to.
But there was a lot of trust on both sides.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think this shows a really healthy relationship between, like, at least the mom and the kids.
Yeah, I definitely feel like them having that conversation, too, was, like, enough to get the ball rolling for the kids to be like, oh, maybe we should think about, like, our actions before we actually do them.
Yeah. I also think what the mom was saying about how, like, yeah, she could demonstrate what to do is the right thing, or what the right thing to do is, but it would be kind of like forcibly demonstrating it and, like, not giving them that choice.
Yeah.
if you give them that choice and you make it feel like, and you still made them feel like they came to that conclusion on their own, you can say what you think is the right choice, you as a parent. But if you allow like your children to also then come to that conclusion, act on it on their own, damn, is that a lot more valuable, I think.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Than just being like, no, don't do this, and then just forcibly like doing it for them.
Yeah. I think how she did it was a good way of being like, hey, maybe we should think about things a little bit more. I liked how she did it because, like you were saying, it was a risk, but
it shows to like you said, stop and think about things. Like, don't just go off your knee-jerk reaction. Take a step back, think about it at all sides, and then decide.
Yeah, then decide. Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I think that that's probably maybe one of the harder parts about being a parent, like having to make that dilemma, like those, because that's a moral dilemma for the parent, even, not just the kid. It's like, how do I handle this situation of my children having a moral dilemma?
Yeah.
So that's a lot. What's like the consensus on
I think
comments?
they're all like pretty
like praising
in support. Yeah, praising.
Yeah, I think she did a good job.
Yeah, and I think a lot of parents wouldn't take that approach. I think they would just very much step in and be the parent role and like.
Because sometimes you got to learn.
This was a very good like teaching moment.
Yeah, this is a learning experience for sure. Sometimes the kids do, and if like the kids did actually follow through, I think that's also a good learning experience. Like a good teaching moment.
Yeah, it would have been a good learning experience either way. And like she said, like, at least they're doing it to a bully. This was a good chance to like really test the waters. Yeah,
it was a good chance of testing the waters, and like this is one of those moments where it's like, well, this bully is still a kid, and they're still, they're probably going through something and they're bullying, and that's not okay. But also, to have empathy and understanding for like other people, even if they're being terrible sometimes. I think that's important. But ultimately, I think, they made a good decision. The kids made a good call.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I'm glad this story ended that way because like it really is a nice like kind of like poetic justice.
Yeah.
And teach your kids not to bully.
Yeah, and I feel like sometimes it is just a projection of like maybe what they're getting at home. Sometimes, like not always, but
not always.
Because sometimes people really are just mean to be mean. Some people really do just like, they're cruel. I think, things aren't always fair, but or like sometimes people are just, unaware of things and they make fun of things that are different and that kind of situation.
Yeah.
Like I heard a comment or like I guess a quote recently that I really like, and it's like the world is cruel so I won't be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's like kind of how I try to go about things.
Yeah. I definitely try to be the same way too, because I know people are always just like, oh, it's a cold world out there, or like life is hard, but it's just like I hear that and I'm just like, yes, life is hard. Why am I contributing to
the difficulty
of life being hard? Like, why don't I try to be like the change that I want to see? Like, why don't I like be nice to people and like just do things and just, I don't know, just be a good person.
Yeah, I think that also too, that the sadness and the frustration and the bitterness and everything, I feel like that seeps into people differently.
Yeah,
I feel like it also, I think, depends. Some people can take that and be constructive with it. I think other people cannot do that.
Yeah.
Or and to some extent, sure, things are choices. But I also think that it's not fair to say that that's true for everyone, that you can just like make that decision and like move on with your life. Like, it's not as easy to change your perspective or how you view things.
Right.
That takes like time.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Yeah.
Everyone's on their own path, their own journey, and like
yeah, exactly. Was there ever any instance like when you were a kid, like when you were you ever really bullied or?
I don't think I was ever seriously bullied. I think maybe there was like some teasing to where like I don't know, maybe I was a little butthurt, but like I think bullying is too harsh of a word. Like I know people that were truly bullied.
Yeah.
So I don't feel right saying that I ever was.
Yeah. That's fair. I always had like weird instances with like girls who wouldn't be like, they weren't like, maybe this is like maybe in a sense of how girls maybe do it, and it's not, it wasn't ever physical, it was always like mental, like gymnastics kind of thing. There's always like these two girls that I remember. One when I was like maybe 7, 8, around there. A girl who this happened in both instances where they would kind of like pick on me or like tease me quite a bit, and then like kind of frame it like, oh, we're just joking around, like that kind of thing. And then one day they just had a complete turnaround. Like they were like, we love you. Like it's so friggin' weird.
Oh.
And it was weirder the second time around because like with the you know, when you're younger, you know, whatever, people are kids and kids can change and things like that. But when it happened when I was a little bit older, I was in high school when it happened, I was literally like, it got weirder because this girl, I'm pretty sure, wanted to be out, like wanted to be like I think she was like on some level like maybe queer or like bi-curious, and like I was out and she picked on me and my girlfriend at the time and would ask us like very weird and invasive questions, like uncomfortably so, and we were always very like, bro, that's not your business, like kind of thing. And it was always like a lot of that. And then one day she just like turned around and was like super nice to me and my girlfriend, and me and her were like, what the fuck? Like, like what is going on? Like last year you hated us and now you suddenly love us. Like what is going on? Like it was just like a lot of projection, I guess, of she wasn't happy with her life, so she has to make everybody else miserable. But like we were the center target. I also think that we were just a spectacle by existing.
Yeah.
Because it was odd for people to be like, to see a queer person like in the place that I was at. It was just like, oh, you're out and you're happy and you're enjoying your life. Like that was weird for people to see. So I think that like, and then on top of that, like I would never really call these instances bullying really. But I mean, maybe that one was, I don't really know. But either way, like, oh, it also got weirder too because she'd always say how beautiful my girlfriend was, who she was beautiful, is beautiful. Like, and like I always thought that was like, clearly you kind of maybe have a crush on her, like, which I was like, yeah, I know she's really hot, but I was like, but you say you're straight, but like, are you though? Like, like I was like kind of clocking her a little bit. And like, I'd even said that at one point to her, and then she got very uncomfortable. And I don't know, that was kind of funny. Like, yeah. And then I had instances like with teachers where teachers would
bully you? No.
Not bully me exactly. I wouldn't go as far to say bully, but I would say inappropriate things, not sexual, but that you shouldn't be saying to a student. Like, for instance, don't take your student aside and be like, oh, you can't hold hands with your girlfriend, or you can't say bye before class to your girlfriend because it makes the teacher uncomfortable. This was an aide that said it to me. Like, this aide said it to me because my math teacher was uncomfortable with seeing queerness in high school. I was like, that's fucking weird. Like, and then like another teacher also said I couldn't say bye to my girlfriend. Like, and we were just like, we wouldn't do anything like crazy. We would just like peck on the cheek, bye, like hug, that's it. And then like it got very weird. Because I would always be like, okay, so what about that straight couple that's like hiding underneath the stairs? They're making out and you've said nothing to them. Like, it was just a lot of hypocrisy, and that was the kind of shit that pissed me off. Still pisses me off. But it's like that kind of shit was like, dude, what? The stuff from the teachers pissed me off more than the students, because it was like, students, I'm like, okay, they're kids, like they're still learning. Like, even in my head, like I maybe wouldn't have done that at their age, but like I still get it. Like, people grow and whatever. But I'm over here like, these teachers were like the age that I am now, probably maybe even plus more. Like, some of the teachers were older than me than I am currently, and I would not do that now. Like, inappropriate, like just weird. So that was honestly worse.
Yeah, I'm usually all for teachers, but there are some bad ones out there. Yeah,
I've had some really great teachers, and I've had some really ones that were like kind of like shitty in that regard. Like, I'm just like, what do you mean? Like, you're looking at like a kid, and instead of being an ally or being a support system to this kid, you're wanting to make them feel like small. I'm just like, that is not your job as a teacher. Like, yeah. And the worst part about my my math teacher that like never said the thing directly to me, but like had the aide do it, which, come on now, really. I actually really liked her, like, as a teacher, and then like this thing made me really dislike her. Like, I was like, I don't even want to be in this classroom right now. But I also, like, at the time, like, wasn't out to my parents, so I couldn't like go to my parents and be like, yo, this happened. Like, eventually things escalated to a point where I had to say something, but it was just like, you know, the whole thing like that was probably the closest I ever came to like being like truly like bullied or whatever. Yeah. And I'm just like, sometimes I think about that and I'm like, god damn, that was shitty. Like, I'm just like, that was what happened. Like, utter failure of the system. But
so I guess parents teach your kids not to be bullies, or else they'll turn into teachers that are bullies to other kids still.
To kids still, somehow.
And give them the chance to make their own decisions as well, because they might just make the right one.
Yeah, maybe they'll surprise you.
Maybe they'll surprise you, or maybe they'll do exactly what you were hoping they'd do. Cool. Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to say about that TikTok? Okay, cool. Well, that is going to do it for us for this week, for this episode. Thank you so much for joining us and listening. If you don't want the party to end, consider joining us over on Patreon, where we record extra content and record for a few extra minutes after the episode ends. Or if you'd rather, you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/nuancedafpod. If you want a free way to support, consider subscribing to us over on YouTube. We're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers to monetize our channel. You can find all the links in our description, show notes, or at linktree/nuancedafpod. That is linktr.ee/nuancedafpod. Thank you so much again for joining us and listening. And remember, in a world where nothing is black and white, it is our job as human beings to find, understand, and be that nuance, because we are all nuanced AF.